So, as we're gearing up for this goal getter mastermind for the end of the year, talked about three things today that can sabotage your goals. And they all tend to happen around the end of the year. I like to call them gremlins. And there were three: one, overcommitment; two, overwhelm; and three, not asking for help. I think I'm guilty of all three. How about you? Let's talk about overcommitment. This is the time of year where all sorts of things start to happen, and you get invitations to this and that. You get asked to do projects for the next year, even end of year projects just seems to be piling on. And if you're in a family, other people in your family have commitments that are piling on as well. This is usually the time. If you have kids, they're having recitals, if they're in dance, or maybe they're having some kind of championship, if they're in sports. All of this stuff piles on. And before long, you can see that you have overcommitted. Now, in order to get underneath it, one of the things that you need to do is ask yourself and be very honest. How did this happen? How did I become overcommitted? And what you want to do is get your journal out, jot down all the things that you're doing. And then once you have that list, ask yourself, how many of these align with your core values? Now, we have probably about three super core values that we can align with that can be our North Star. And if some of these things aren't aligning with those North Stars, you can begin to delete them. You might even delegate them to someone else and free yourself up, because when you're overcommitted, it's easy to become stuck. And you'll see that these three gremlins are very connected. If you're overcommitted, chances are you feel overwhelmed. If you're feeling overwhelmed, sometimes it's because you're so frozen and stuck because you haven't asked for help. And when you get stuck and frozen, you probably won't ask for help because you figure you need to do it yourself, or you get embarrassed by it. Think of why you're overcommitting, because we're in this season and a society that really seems to reward the idea of this whole hustle culture, and we have to rebuke it. I know I rebuke it. I encourage my clientele to rebuke it, because there's nothing good in it for you, only to get worn down and not do what you need to do well, if at all. So sometimes it's a matter of just being honest with yourself and saying, am I doing all these things because of the way it looks? Think about it. Our society says, ooh, look at her. She's doing all the things. Yay. And the absolute answer to that is no way. Say no thanks to that, because that's the thing that will get you worn down. It's not aligned with your values. It's aligned with someone else's. Think about that and ask yourself, how did I become overcommitted? Make your list and then start to scratch out those things that you can let go of. I'll see you online.